Hey YouTube, Joe Walker here at Def Digits Guitar Lessons. I'm going live right now for my student Bernhard, and I want to teach him Funk number 49 by the James Gang. So two riffs that I'm going to show you. One is this one. The other one is this one. So in the song, starting with this first riff, all of that is going to happen on the D string, G string, and B string. It's all fretted on those three strings all the way through. So the picking hand is going to be pretty aggressive, probably hitting all six strings, but you can target those three that the left hand is doing. By target, I mean just kind of zoom in your strumming there. You're not going to try to be accurate on those three strings. We're going to be hitting more strings, so the left hand has to be doing some muting. So to start with, let's look at this chord. We're going to do a hammer-on in there, like that. But to start with, let's look at the chord before the hammer-on, and it's this orientation that we start with. It's your index finger wrapped around, your thumb wrapped around, so you've got this OK symbol just going right around all the strings. Now, if your hands are big enough, you'll be able to mute everything that you need to. Your first finger is pressing down on those three strings that we're using, the fourth, third, and second strings. On the fifth fret, the back of your first finger should mute the high E string right there. So make sure that's muted so that when we play it, that's not ringing out either as an open string or as a fretted note. We don't want either of those in there. So first string's muted. We got these three notes are all clear with one finger. Pad of your finger, make sure the knuckle is collapsed backwards to get the pad of your finger. And then the tip of that finger can also mute the A string right there, muting the A string. So you can zoom in and check that. It's okay if you get that harmonic sound coming out of it. It's going to be drowned out by the actual chord once you get it. And your thumb needs to be over the top to at least mute the low E string. If your thumb's big enough, you can wrap it all the way around and double up on that A string like this maybe, or how do I do it? I wonder. I sort of have my thumb wrapped around. It's not really doing anything on the A string. I just let it go as far as I want it to. But it doesn't need to be that big. I've got kind of big hands. It doesn't need to go all the way over like that. Just needs to hit the low E string because your first finger is in charge, in this case, of muting that A string. So double check that all six strings are doing what you want them to. You want mute, mute, three clear notes, and then mute at the top. So all the way through this thing, all of those little chords, we're going to have to do this same, give it this same treatment. Make sure all of the muted strings are actually muted. We don't want to just be thinking about the notes that we want because the pick is going to be strumming pretty much everything. So that's the first move is we've got fret 5, 5, 5. Middle finger is going to hammer on the G string, fret 6, right there. Like that. So downstroke, hammer on to it, and then we're going to do ring finger is going to do the same thing on fret 7 that your first finger was doing on fret 5. So ring finger comes in flat, collapsed knuckle right there. So you've got the flat portion of that finger right across three strings. Thumb still over the top where it was, muting at least the low E string, maybe the A string too. And this finger is getting those three strings, muting the high E string and muting the A string at the same time. This is what we should start with. Try to make that move nice and clean. All those fret 7s, and here with the hammer on. So work on that until you can make that clean, and then start putting in the mutes in between. We want this. Now to get those mutes, you just relax your fingers. Your thumb was already muting. The back of your fingers were already muting. So if you've got it in this orientation, and you just relax those notes that you were picking, now everything's muted. Maybe a little cleaner than that though, like that. try to get that going. Now up here, the other part of the riff, we're going to move your whole hand up. So now you're wrapped around at fret 7. Index finger is doing the same thing it was before on fret 5. Now you just moved it up. So we've got this clunk, clunk, 3 clear notes, and clunk on the high E string. Now we're going to do a double hammer on. And this is middle finger going to fret 8 on the B string right there. Ring finger going to fret 9 on the D string down there. So we end up with this chord. So we have this one, we hammer on here, and then back. Oops. And then we pivot from that point and move back. So we got, here's the whole thing, I'll do it slowly. I'm also putting that open A string, just release it so you can throw it in there. Or your thumb is already on it, so you can just squeeze with that thumb and get that same A note, 5th fret down here, or the open A string. For picking, strumming really, try to keep that motion going the whole time. Chuck, 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 chuck. These are 16th notes, so if we're feeling the beat here, boom, 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 boom. That's the motion you want the whole time. No matter what you're playing, you want that motion to stay there the whole time. Let's look at the other riff. So this is going straight down through A minor pentatonic. And then we skip the root. We would expect the root right there. Well, normally the way people learn minor pentatonic would be like that. So we want to go replace this note over here. It's easier to hit over there in this case. We got down, up, up. That's the rhythm we get. Down, up, up. Down, up, up. And now down here, up, down. Then we get our root. Flat 7 to the root. And then we hit a power chord. A power chord right here. 5, 7, 7. Second time, just hold that root note. Then we go up 2 frets, do it in B minor pentatonic. Hold that root again. Then we hit E Hendrix chord. And this is, I usually put the open E string in there, and it's fret 7, 6, 7, 8. That's from Purple Haze and Foxy Lady and who knows what else. He used it all over the place. So that gets us back to where we started. So with the picking and all this, it's pretty essential timing-wise to keep this picking hand moving. Downstrokes on the downbeats, upstrokes on the upbeats, and all the way through. The feel is with 16th notes. So when you're doing that, try to keep that feel all the way through. If you end up throwing in extra mutes because of it, it's just fine. There are a lot of mutes in there, and there's not really like a set pattern of when he does mutes and when he doesn't do mutes in the song, so you can just follow your taste on when you're throwing in mutes and when you're not. If you end up doing this pretty much the whole time, Then it will guarantee that you get the picking right, and then you can try to ease up on some of those mutes. Same thing with, excuse me, same thing with, whoops. That's what it sounds like with no mutes. You probably want to have a bunch of them in there. That's it for today. Have fun with those couple of riffs. Let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.